I don't believe in darkness. Guide me through the night. The sun goes down this evening. I can't see through the dark. Walk me through my path and bring me the light. The moon comes around. Guide me through this light. When I look through my window, the moon smiles at me, yeah. And I say to my neighbor, let's go see the light. Walk me through my path and show me the way. The moon comes around, guide us through this light. The moon comes around. Guide me through my life. Walk me through my path and show me the way.
Well done, Tosin.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to Drumeo Edge. I'm Dave Atkinson, and I'm here with a special guest, Tosin Aribisala.
Yeah.
Tosin, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys are in for a real treat with today's lesson. Tosin is an incredible drummer, as you just heard. But what's really cool about this is very creative beats that you're playing in there. Mm-hmm. And if you guys liked what you just heard there, we're going to be teaching that in this lesson, so stick around. We've got a full PDF for you to download. Tosin's going to be playing some more music for us as well. So there's a lot going to be happening, and it's going to be a really cool lesson. Mm-hmm. But before I get into that, let me just introduce Tosin. If you guys haven't heard of Tosin before, he's originally from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Been living in Washington, D.C. now for the last 16 years or so.
Yeah.
Very cool. Been playing drums most of his life. You actually you won an award in Nigeria, best drummer in Nigeria in '95. Mm-hmm. That's very cool.
Yeah, long time ago.
Since then, he's gone on to play and perform with Femi Kuti. You've recorded albums with Spyro Gyra. You performed at PASIC 2006. He is known as the Groove Man.
Yeah.
His nickname is T-Groove, and you can clearly see why.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Yeah, thanks.
And Jared and I actually had the honor of going to PASIC in 2016, and we both watched a clinic by Tosin. We both looked at each other and were like, man, we've got to get this guy out on Drumeo. Not because of your sheer skill and talent, but the creative edge that you bring to drumming. It's something that I don't hear a lot of, and I know members, and myself included, we're always looking to build our creativity, find ways to kind of expand our horizons beside just rock.
That's right.
So I really am looking forward to this lesson. Huge thanks to your sponsors, Evans, Vickforth, Sabian Cymbals, for helping bring you out for this lesson. And if you guys want to follow Tosin online, you can check him out at Tosin Beats tosinbeats.com. That's Tosin beats.com. Or you can follow him on social media. Instagram and Facebook is at Tosin Beats.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything, man?
Everything's cool.
Everything's cool?
Yeah.
Well, then I'll stop talking. I'll let this guy do his thing. Again, if you guys are watching for the first time, welcome to Drumeo. We do a lot of this stuff every day in Drumeo Edge, so make sure you check it out because we're also going to be filming a full Q&A with him tomorrow, as well as a course that's diving into Afrobeats even further than this. But
Yes.
enough of me, man. I'll let you take it away.
All right. Yeah, thanks for the awesome introduction. And I'm glad to be here to, I always say that the drumming community is a sharing community. We all, we drummers, we learn from each other. I learn from up-and-coming drummers. I learn from intermediate level players and up to the pro players out there.
Yeah.
So everybody has something to offer, something to give. And we just blend that energy together and create something deep, So today I'll be talking about some African beats, some Afrobeat drumming, and some other variations of the Afrobeat drumming. Like the music that I just played, that was some Afrobeat groove.
Cool.
Fused with some jazzy interpretations. It's like jazz fusion interpretation of it, and vocals and horns and things like that. So I'm gonna be breaking things down, giving you pieces of the beats from bass drum to, because we have 4 limbs to work with. So when I sit on the drums, I look at the whole drum like, okay, what can I achieve here with my 4 limbs? Yeah, because I didn't start off playing drums this way. I started out playing the hand drum. And I was only using 2 of my 4 limbs. Just using the hands, no sticks, just pa, 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 like the djembe, all those things.
Sure, yeah.
And when I discovered the drum set, I figured that, wow, how am I going to be able to play all of this? One person with 5 or 6 or 7 drums. So I figured, okay, I have to learn from the scratch. And so I started putting things together. For instance, I told you a story of how I put together the drums.
That's right.
The traditional drum, I didn't have access to drum set back then. So I had some African tribal drums, the bongos. I used the bongos to mimic the mounted toms.
Yeah.
And I used the shekere as the the hi-hat. Yeah, just to get that little tiny sound together. And eventually I was able to take drum lessons and then started playing drums and listening to jazz, all kinds of music and putting everything together. So Afrobeat started out in Nigeria. The pioneer was Fela Kuti. And the drummer that played with Fela Kuti back then that created all this groove with Fela back then was Tony Allen, who now lives in France. Yeah, so he came up with all these beats when Fela was forming his musical direction back then in the 60s/70s. So I'm going to give you some examples.
Very cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So
be sure to download the PDF, everyone who's watching live.
All right. So I'm going to be playing the first one, putting everything together between the bass drum, snare drum, and the hi-hat. And usually in Afrobeat, the snare drum doesn't just play a straight or one note per measure or something like that. In funk, you have one note on the 2, one note on the 4, 2 and 4. The snare drum is always busier than that. And the bass drum is always busier too, playing like 2 consecutive 16th notes at the same time. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. Yeah.
It's just so different.
Yeah. So the snare drum is always talking, interacting with the bass drum. Du-dum, da-da-da, du-du-dum, da-da-da, da-da-da. Yeah, all those 16th notes all coming together. And I'm going to play the second one here, which is somewhat close to this. So, and mind you don't have to limit yourself to the hi-hat to back up what the bass drum and the snare drum are doing. You can always go to the right, for instance. for the second example, I'm going to change the hi-hat rhythm a little bit. So instead of just playing the ostinato, so it's this time around it's going to be and a little swung, you know. So it's not just so straightforward.
Cool. So these are if you look on the page, these are number 4A and 4B. But the cool thing about them is you're going to break them all down for us. So why don't we start at the very top and show us how you can build into these grooves?
Okay. So I'm going to start off with the bass drum.
Okay.
And simply playing the 2 consecutive 16th notes on 1 and 3, the downbeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other variation to these on example B is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And for the snare drum, like I said earlier, the snare drum is always playing a combination of 2 consecutive 16 notes and 3 16 to combine together. You can just place them rhythmically.
Before you get into that too, there's also a couple other exercises on this page. You guys are going to notice there's other examples that you could try on your own. We don't have time to explain every single B, C, D, E, and all sorts, but we're going to talk about the main ones, a couple of the examples, and then you guys can apply this to this other sections on the page. So you got your foot going on the basic 16th notes on A and B, number 1, A and B. Now we're into number 2, so the snare drum variations.
Yeah. So this is the one with the combination of the 3 16-note groupings.
Yes.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now, so the next one, the B, will be coming in on the 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and now I'm going to put it all together.
Now I'm noticing when you're doing that, you're basically practicing this with your left hand.
Yeah.
Only with your left hand.
Only with my left hand.
Very cool.
So the left hand, the left hand usually plays the groove on the snare drum. So, except you are you're left-handed. I'm actually left-handed.
No way.
Yeah, but I trained to play the right-hand way.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to talk about that towards the end, because I'm sure there's a lot of questions that are going to be there for that. So we got the hi-hat, we got the snare and the bass drum. What are you doing with your hi-hats?
With the hi-hat, it's the ostinato with the groupings of 3 16 notes. So 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E-R, 2 E-R, 3 E-R, 4 E-R, 1 E-R, 2 E-R, 3 E-R, 4 E-R. And sometimes what we do when you're playing Afrobeat is to give the music some more push, to make it sound, to give it that metronomic feel, to give it that steady feel. So you open the hi-hat, and the clave does the same thing. It's just that the clave plays it differently. The clave plays a steady quarter note with the 2 16 notes, 2 consecutive 16 notes together, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So on the hi-hat, you combine that with the hi-hat and you go 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, all right. So that's for the hi-hat. And of course, the ride does the same thing, playing that ostinato feel.
So let's put this together. You kind of just did it there. Let's throw number 4A on screen. So 4A is basically an example of 1A,
Yeah.
2A, and 3A
Yeah.
put together. Let's hear it.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool.
Cool.
Very cool. So the first half had a little bit of a different snare pattern to that.
Yeah.
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 Sounds awesome, though.
Thanks.
So how would you develop that? Would you literally go through each step of the way? Would you put any notes on top of each other before you put them all together?
Yeah. What I'll say is you can go step by step by playing the bass drum first, especially if you're new to this style of playing, this style of music, and you're trying to get everything together. Work on the bass drum separately, snare drum, hi-hat separately. Once you get an understanding of what each of the drum parts are doing, then you can combine them together. So I'll say step 1 is to play each part separately. Step 2 is to combine 2 parts, for instance, the bass drum and the snare drum, and then the third part, which is the hi-hat. And then you can always, the variation of it is to move between hi-hat and ride. So, and the music, the composition of the music would determine what part you use. Especially, in Afrobeat, when the horns come in, the drummer switches to the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, to give it a full sound.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's throw number 4A up. Just burn that one a little bit more with us. I think it's such a cool beat, and
Okay.
Maybe just go to ride back to the hi-hat so we can get a good feel for it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, 1, 2, 3. Now, this is extending to something very, very polyrhythmic,
Yeah.
whereby you're splashing the hi-hat with your left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then the offbeat on the bell. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little swing feel to it.
Yeah. What I like about this, too, is that with rock and most pop music, you're really looking for a backbeat, like an accented 2 and 4. And you already kind of mentioned this, but with this, what I noticed with your playing is that all the notes you're playing on the snare are the same volume.
Yeah.
They're not going up, they're not going down, there's no accent there, and it creates this really cool perpetual motion, I guess you could say, for the group.
And very relaxed.
Yeah. Let's do number 4B. Let's throw that one on screen. This is another variation of the groove that you guys could practice.
All right.
Using the open hi-hats.
Okay, so for this one, the bass drum shifts a little bit. So we still have, because one of the fundamentals of Afrobeat is to have that 2 consecutive 16 notes somewhere, So it could be on the downbeat, on the upbeat, or something. So, but here we only have it occurring on beat 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Love it, man.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one, 4C.
All right. So now this, on the 4C, it's a combination of quarter notes on the bass drum and the two consecutive 16th notes on beat 2 and 4. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This is usually an upbeat where you speed things up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
Cool. I love you got a lot of space there when you're not playing your snare and you throw in some extra toms there.
Yeah.
Gives it a
yeah.
really cool feel to it.
Exactly. Makes it sound full.
Yeah, totally.
The fullness of groove.
The fullness of groove. We talked a little bit about that. Maybe we can get to that at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But let's move on to the next page. You guys, there are a couple other grooves on that sheet that I would recommend you give a try. But in essence of time, we're going to move on to the next page because we've got some more feels to talk about here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So here we, now this is a shift from, we're talking about African beats. This is a shift from afrobeat. And this is more from East Africa, between East and West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, this is makossa.
Makossa.
Yeah. So it's common in Congo, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and other parts of Africa.
Cool.
So this is a very pop-oriented groove. Even in disco music, pop, house music, you hear the same pulse of the bass drum, which is 4 on the bass drum, 4 quarter notes to the beat. So that gives us on, do, tra, ka. Usually upbeat, dance music. Yeah, because people want to dance. They want to groove.
That's universal.
It's universal.
Yeah, big time.
So that's why they call it common time.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody can count 1, 2, 3, 4.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bass drum. This is very, very easy peasy, And I'll go and play the snare drum. On this one, you can use either the snare drum on the head or the rim click for this.
Okay.
So the snare drum pattern is basically 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Or on the
cross stick.
Cross stick. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So putting this together with the hi-hat, before that, the hi-hat varies also. The hi-hat is similar, the first hi-hat variation for this is similar to that of the Afrobeat pattern that I just played. The 3 groupings, the ostinatos. 1, 2, 3, go. 1 ER, 2 ER, 3 ER, 4 ER, 1 ER, 2, 3 ER. So, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the B, example B for the hi-hat patterns, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So let me now put all of this together.
Sure, yeah. Let's see
Let me put this together.
So with just taking the snare example from 2A and the hi-hat example from 3A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go and have it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you want to show us B, the hi-hat pattern for B with that in there?
Yeah, all right. So, yeah.
Very cool. Now, you were talking about 2B. You have a different example for your cross stick kind of pattern on there. Do you want to show us that too?
Yeah, yeah. All right, so 1, 2, 3, go. Now I'm gonna add the hi-hat on 3A and 3B respectively.
Okay, let's
To
hear
this.
Yeah.
So let's hear it. 1, 2, 3, go. Now 3B hi-hat. 2, 3, 4.
I can just see it in you. You just want to bust out into something more than that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Again, guys, check out the PDF. There's a lot more examples there where you can kind of put them together. There's a couple more snare cross stick examples and hi-hat variations. It's got almost like a soul calypso kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
got that feel to it. And a little bit of reggaeton.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the first example on the snare drum, 2A.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got some reggaeton feel to it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Cool.
Let's move on to the next page.
All right.
So what is this kind of a feel?
This here is another variation of the makossa style of music.
Yeah.
That's popular in the countries I just mentioned,
Yeah.
Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Congo, and some other parts of West Africa, West and East Africa. Yeah. So, ta, ta, ta. And actually, this here is now very common, very, very common in Nigeria now
Okay.
and West Africa. We call it afrobeats with the S at the back,
Afrobeats.
at the back of the T. Original afrobeat is just afrobeat.
Yeah.
And now we have afrobeats, which is becoming very popular among DJs. And they play that at parties, they play it everywhere. It's very popular now. So making use of, it's almost like the Afro-Cuban clave pattern.
Gotcha.
But we use it on the snare, we use it on the cross stick, and rock with it.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, all right. So here, snare drum, snare drum A.
Yep.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Now, what's the difference between A and B? Because B looks a little bit shorter.
Yeah, the B is shorter because you can use your creativity for the rest of the space that you have here on the B. Cool. So yeah, you don't have to play everything. So you can use a tom for a feel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a rhythmic feel as you play along that. I'll just play that now,
Sure.
just so guys can have an idea of what I'm talking about. So, so you have something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Sweet. So the main thing is just to get that first half there and
Yeah.
improvise.
And improvise.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What about the hi-hat pattern?
The hi-hat rhythm. Okay, the difference between this and what I've played before is still an ostinato pattern, but you accent the last two 16th notes on each quarter note. So one, 2, 3, and now 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So, yeah, and sometimes the snare drum and the hi-hats do play the same thing, the same clave pattern.
Very cool. So that was 2A and 2B, two great examples.
Yeah.
Let's throw it all together now.
All right. So, and of course, with the bass drum keeping the steady 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now playing 2.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the next one, number B?
Number B. All right.
Or letter B, I guess it would be.
Yeah. So the snare drum and the hi-hat are actually doing the exact same thing.
Okay.
So same clave pattern. So 1, 2, 3.
Very cool, man. Now the last one we'll talk about on this page, it's in 6/8, and I really wanted to see how you would take this into a 6/8 feel. So do you want to explain that one for us? Number C or letter C, 3C.
Yeah, letter C. The 6/8 thing is the same thing. The clave pattern is the same on the 6/8. So and same thing with the bass drum. The bass drum gives us that steady quarter note against the 6/8. So it's like getting 4 out of 6. There's a way we count that. We don't just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We count 4.
Okay.
But you play the subdivision in 6/8. So,
okay.
Yeah. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they interweave into each other.
Yeah, kind of like quarter note triplets over
Yeah,
top of it.
yeah,
Gotcha,
exactly. So
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Putting it together now. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You can do the same thing on the cross stick, just as we did with the previous examples.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that a little slower? Because for those trying to count it out, it might be easier to do that.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's cool because it gives you a different way of thinking about it. When Jared and I saw you at PASIC, the one thing that stood out to me was you played a song, and the song had like a couple bars intro.
Yeah.
And the first couple bars went by, and in my head, I was already jamming to something. You know how you do that? You play a beat. And then you started playing, and it was completely different than what I had in my mind. And I was like, What a creative approach. Now I can see kind of where you get that from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just twisted things around.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let me not do this business as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it separates you from a lot of other drummers out there, which is really cool. Again, guys, there's more on the sheet music that you can kind of mess around with, and we are doing a course specific for Edge members that are going to take this and other styles of Afro beats and break them down. But before we get any further, I want you to play us another track, if that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
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 And we got this mic here because you're going to be singing on it. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be singing.
Set this song up for us.
All right. Well, I wrote this song. Well, I wrote the groove first. I was working on a project called I started the drum monologue project.
Yeah.
Where it was just me doing the drum solo thing, and then I met this guy from Ghana, who played conga very well. His name is Atado, and so we got together and said, let's collaborate. So I was writing different pieces that we're going to work on, and we went to the studio to do some recording of that. So I created this 5/4 groove, and we worked on that. And after the project, he moved to another state, and I started writing this song. This was around 2009, 2010. And so last year, towards the end of a tour that I was part of, I started writing the words to this song. The words kept coming, so I wrote the words, and then I left it somewhere. And towards the end of last year, I decided to give this groove a try again. I was working on a lot of odd time signatures, just trying to get my odd time feel right. So I remembered that groove, put it together, and I started merging the words that I wrote while on tour into this groove. And I said, you know what, let me develop this further. So I started out with the bass arrangement, horns arrangement, and then bam, went to the studio, put it together. I said, you know what, I'm gonna play this live for the first time today.
Awesome. And you're gonna sing it at the same time.
And I'm gonna sing it, yeah.
All right, well, the track is called?
Ajoso, which means conversation.
Love it.
Conversation.
Let me move this into place for you. We got it ready to go, and whenever you're ready, man.
Okay, let's make sure this is fine.
I'm excited. All right, here we go.
All right.
bá kú ẹwà o. Ibi ó bá ń rè lèmi yóò máa bá ọ lọ. Ibi ó bá ń rè lèmi yóò máa bá ọ lọ. Ibi ó bá ń rè lèmi yóò máa bá ọ lọ. Ibi ó bá ń rè lèmi yóò máa bá ọ lọ. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ́ òun ló ṣe kókó. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ́ òun ló ṣe pàtàkì. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ́ òun ló ṣe kókó sẹ́. Ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ́ òun ló ṣe pàtàkì. Wéyé wéyé bọ̀ 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 bọ̀. Wéyé wéyé bọ̀ 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 bá. Wéyé wéyé bọ̀ 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 bọ̀. Wéyé wéyé bọ̀ 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 bá. Gila 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 gila. Gila 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 gila. Oh, jiggy 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 jiggy. Gila 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 gila. Oh, jiggy 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 jiggy. Oh, gila 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 gila.
Goodness. That was unreal, man.
Thank you.
That was unreal. First off, singing and playing the drums is no easy task. And then you bust out into that solo piece at the end. Unbelievable. Very well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay, sorry, let me get back focused here on the lesson. Okay, so we'll get to some questions here.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you to play us some more tunes. But before we get into that, like, is there any tips that you want to give the audience, the viewers, for learning this kind of style and playing that kind of music?
All right. Yeah. I'll say, first of all, you need to be a lover of music. Be open to explore different styles of music. That's how I got to be able to play different genres of music. And I was always very curious. So you need to develop that curiosity that what else can I do on the drums? What else can I play? Because you can play rock, you can play funk, you can play jazz, you can play everything. But then when you learn other styles of music, it's definitely going to impact the way you approach another style of music that you play.
Yeah.
That's what brings about the uniqueness.
Yeah.
So collect a lot of tunes, afrobeats, makossa, soukous, calypso, all those things, and listen to them. Even music without drum set, because that helps you to open up your imagination. That, wait, what can I bring to this music that has no drum set in it?
Yeah.
So when I was really doing, I still do that. I still do a lot of play along. But there was a time, everything is a phase for me. So there was this phase whereby I was doing a lot of play along to different styles of music to get a grip of it. And I will get music that has no drum set in it and try to tune into that and create something out of nothing from the drum set to the music. So just playing along to the music, like, okay, what if I was called to play drums to this music that has no drum set? How am I going to approach it? Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. So, and one thing about African music is that it's very, very polyrhythmic.
Okay.
So you have, and playing drum set alone, whatever style of music you're playing, whatever country you come from, playing the drum set alone is a lot of task because you're using your four limbs at the same time. So that's polyrhythmic already. Say you're playing jazz for now. These two guys are interacting, and these two guys are speaking a different language, just improvising based on what this guy set up. So that's polyrhythmic right there. And so when the approach to African music or any kind of drumming, any style, any beat you want at all, is to go back to the foundation of drums, which is rudiments. I tell a lot of my students, a lot of people all the time that you have to have that foundation. When you're able to play your say flams, say your double strokes, paradiddle, single strokes, they all have their place in the entire aspect of drumming. How you move around, how you combine different rhythms, the strokes and everything, the 5-stroke rolls, 7-stroke rolls, and the extensions like that. So it's going to have an impact on your feels, how you roll, how you move around, and your breathing pattern and all those things. So you want to be able to sustain and endure the movement around the drums. So whatever style of music you play.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
A couple questions from the people watching, if that's cool.
All right.
Yeah. We don't have time for much, but again, like usual, we do a full interview / Q&A with the guests on the next day on Edge. So if you want to come out to that, make sure you remember. Here is one from Dyscalculia. Just butchering the name, but long story short, they say, "Hey Tosin, what is your approach on practicing independence? What would you recommend? Best regards from Norway."
All right. Hi, Norwegian. So in terms of practicing independence, I'll say, start from the basics. I always refer back to the basics. Playing, for instance, I used a book by Alan Dawson.
Yes.
Yeah, written by John Ramsey, and there's one of that, Kit Copeland. Also, Kit Copeland also wrote a book about independence. So it's called The 4-Way Independence for the Contemporary Drummer. So Kit Copeland, if you can get that. So it breaks down everything in regards to playing independently on the drums. And I don't just call it independence, it's interdependence, because this guy is independently doing his own thing. And this guy is independently doing his own thing too. 2, 3, 4. So in that book by Kit Copeland, it broke down a lot of things. And same thing with Alan Dawson.
Yeah.
Like the paradiddle, breaking it down into different ways by which you can approach independence on the drums.
Yeah.
So like. So you can approach independence that way. Yeah. So, and secondly, when you play almost any kind of music, try to move around between the hi-hat and the ride, and let your hi-hat keep the beat going. 1, 2, 3, 4, or the offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3, and try to keep this on the downbeat or the offbeat. Yeah.
That's a huge task right there. What he just told you there, don't expect to do that one night and then be done with it.
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time. Like, how long did you go through those books?
How
long did it take you?
It took me a few years.
Yeah, you see, like.
Yeah. It took me a few years of daily practice.
Daily practice.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's paid off for you, Tosin.
Thanks.
Bonesy asks, "Hey, I don't know about you, but I play Latin / African rhythms, and at times it seems almost the same. It seems like I was taught them simultaneously. So what is the distinction between some of these styles that make them different other than the culture? Thanks and great job."
Oh, thank you very much. There really isn't much difference between the African and the Afro-Cuban. I remember when I was growing up, my dad would play some Brazilian music, some Afro-Cuban music, and I said, "Oh, this is from Cuba? He said, yes, because, some Africans migrated to that part of the world.
Yeah.
So they took some of the music that they had from their roots over there and developed it. So there isn't really much difference. The only difference that I would say is the names given to these styles.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but I'll just say they are just variations of the same family tree, different branches. Yeah. So that's the...
Yeah, well, I noticed that even with the calypso style beat that you were playing, very similar.
And even like the example I gave about the reggaeton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything interbreathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EL says in the questions, he says, this is utterly ridiculous. Wow. Yeah, hopefully you guys get inspired, because if there's nothing else, if you don't even want to learn these beats, just the inspiration behind it to learn other styles or just listen to other styles is great. We'll do one more question before we wrap up here. Here's one from Kevin444. He asks, looks like you're playing the finger pull, or is that open close with your right hand? Maybe basically just talk about your right hand technique. Like, what are you doing with that there?
Oh yeah, with the right hand technique, I do different things depending on what I'm playing. I don't use. Okay, for instance, I usually use the French timpani grip.
Yeah.
For the sticks.
Yeah.
And without thinking, and I can bet you a lot of drummers go through that. Once you start playing, you're not conscious of how you hold your stick anymore. You just play what feels right, So I start off with, consciously start off with French timpani grip, right? And eventually, depending on what I want to play, how convenient it's going to be for me, how it's going to be easy for me to execute that phrase, then I can twist my hand to give me the conventional grip, the matched grip. Yeah. So sometimes I use this when I'm playing jazz or when I want to play something really soft and subtle. Yeah. So yeah.
And you got finger control.
Yeah, and I have the finger control when I'm trying to do some, especially when I'm doing like some ostinatos on the ride.
I saw it on your hi-hats too when you're doing those little 3-note grooves.
Yeah. Yeah. So
very cool.
Yeah.
We have tons of lessons on hand technique, finger control, and stuff like that in Drumeo. But yeah, I can see you're definitely using that there.
Yeah.
We got a lot more questions that come in, but we're gonna save those tomorrow because I want you to play us out still. But I got one personal question for you, if that's cool.
Yeah.
The music you were playing today is awesome. It sounded great, and I love what you played at PASIC as well. So, as a listener and a music fan, can you give me some suggestions if I want to get into that style of music more? Maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 bands or artists or albums that you'd recommend.
Okay, I will definitely recommend first Fela Kuti.
Yes.
Femi Kuti, the son of Fela Kuti.
Yeah.
You can check him out too. And then there's this guy in Brazil, Seu Jorge.
Seu Jorge.
Yeah, it's not pronounced as George. It's Jorge.
Okay.
But I call it George because I'm not used to that accent.
Sure.
So I think it's Seu Jorge or something like that. But Seu Jorge, I call it that. So, he does a lot of Brazilian music, but his approach is different. Very funky, very R&B-ish with some nice punchy horns. So yeah, that's a very good, and the way he approaches the hi-hat, he plays drums himself.
No way.
Yeah, he's a drummer, he plays guitar, he's a multi-talented guy.
Yeah.
But he mainly sings. He's the singer of the band, but once in a while, he gets on the drum. And I watched the way he played the drum. They were playing some funk groove, and his approach was totally different on the hi-hat.
Yeah.
And the same way the drummer that plays in the band approaches the hi-hat. So sometimes what differentiates one style of music to the other or one person's approach to the other can just be something as simple as the way you play your hi-hat, the rhythm, So, yeah. I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For instance, this hi-hat rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that.
Yeah.
Instead of just... Yeah, and he played it fluidly, effortlessly. It was so smooth. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to check those out. Make sure you guys check that out too if you like the style. What are you going to play us out with?
I'm going to close out with one more compositions of mine. You know, I love different styles of music. When I was growing up, I was exposed to all styles of music. And when I write, I try to pay homage to all these different styles. Maybe not everything, you know, but I try to think of expressing myself in a particular way because I love it, because I believe I can do it. So I do that. So this one is more on the rock side.
Okay.
I like to feel that rock energy, that getting dirty and nasty.
Yeah.
And funky at the same time.
Very cool.
Yeah. So this is called Mase Gbagbe, which means don't forget.
Love it.
Never forget. And I hope that you wouldn't forget this music, this groove.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure not. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Again, huge thanks to you, Tosin, for coming out.
Thank you very
You're always
much.
welcome here at Drumeo. And for those watching this on YouTube, make sure you come to drumeo.com and check out the full course with him. Also, I didn't say this in the beginning, but the very first song that Tosin played is going to be offered as a play-along inside of Drumeo as well. So if you want that, you can come and grab it. I'm going to leave and listen in there.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
See you guys all later.
All right.
Má ṣe gbàgbé oore rẹ láyé mi o. Má ṣe gbàgbé àánú rẹ nínú ayé mi. Má ṣe gbàgbé ìlérí rẹ